oblique, fire! Shoulder your firelocks. Order your firelocks.
At this time, I'd like to invite the president of the Friends of the Battle.
Very good. All right. Welcome and thank you for coming to our commemoration of the 248th anniversary of the Battle of Bennington. My name is David Pitlick. I am the Interpretive Programs Assistant at Bennington Battlefield. So on behalf of our agency, New York State Parks, I welcome everyone. Today we've got a very interesting program for you. In addition to a series of historical accounts, we will have maybe a little bit more black powder involved in the ceremony than in years past, which I think everyone's in favor of. There are also some minor changes to the program for those following along. In a moment here, we will begin with a cannon and musket salute to mark the start of the program. There will be 2 additional salutes throughout the program, one following the national anthem that doesn't appear on your program. It's not necessary per se to cover your ears, but if you are sensitive to loud noises, certainly just be aware of those cues in the program. We will also be having our wreath laying ceremony prior to the dedication of the memorial bench, so those portions of the program have been swapped in order. So, without further ado, I will invite our living history reenactors to go ahead and open our ceremony with a cannon and musket salute.
Handle your arms. Shoulder your firelocks. Right about. Pace. Prime and load. Company volley, make ready! Present, to the left oblique, fire! Shoulder your firelocks. Order your firelocks.
At this time, I'd like to invite the president of the Friends of the Bennington Battlefield, Phyllis Chapman, to lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, David. You all please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, Madison Baldwin will play the national anthem for us. Madison, if you would.
Armed.
will now have a additional cannon and musket salute.
Run and load. Ready. Present. To the left oblique. Fire! Shoulder your firelocks. Right about. Face. Border your firelocks.
Now we will continue the program with reading of some historical accounts and letters. At this time, I would like to invite Daryl Holloway to the lectern to read Thomas Jefferson's letter to John Stark of 1805.
Good evening. I have the honor to share a letter written to General John Stark from Thomas Jefferson. This letter comes 28 years after the Battle of Bennington. John Stark would have been 77 years old, and he had the good fortune to live to 93, a long life even by today's standards. To me, this letter is a reminder to honor those who come before us and to continue to do so long after they are gone. It also demonstrates the importance of Bennington. In this letter, Jefferson coins the Battle of Bennington as the first link in the chain of many successes, something that we hold with deep pride today. He states, "Respected General, I have recently learnt through the channel of the newspapers, and learnt it with great pleasure, that you are still in life and enjoy health and spirits. The victories of Bennington, the first link in the chain of successes which issued the surrender at Saratoga, are still fresh in the memory of every American, and the name of him who achieved them dear to his heart. Permit therefore a stranger who knows you only by the services you have rendered to express to you the sincere emotions of pleasure and attachment which he felt on learning that your days have been thus prolonged. His fervent prayers that they may still be continued in comfort, and the conviction that whenever they end, your memory will be cherished by those who come after you as of one who has not lived in vain for his country. I salute you, venerable patriot and general, with affection and reverence. Thomas Jefferson." Thank you.
I'll be reading John Stark's letter to the veterans of Bennington, Vermont in 1809, so some years after the letter Daryl just read. This is a fairly famous response. Just a little bit of context. The veterans of the battle had been gathering, as far as we know, even 1 year after the battle in 1778 to mark the occasion. John Stark was invited late in life to one such gathering. However, he wasn't quite up to it, and he offered them this letter by way of explanation and apology, and in drafting it, happened to craft a turn of phrase that is fairly well known and famous today. You'll know it when you hear it. Quote, "My friends and fellow soldiers, I received yours of the 22nd instant, containing your fervent expression of friendship and your very polite invitation to meet with you to celebrate the 16th of August in Bennington. As you observe, I, quote, can never forget that I commanded American troops on that day in Bennington. They were men that had not learned the art of submission, nor had they been trained to the art of war. But our astonishing success taught the enemies of liberty that undisciplined freemen are superior to veteran slaves, and I fear we shall have to teach the lesson anew to that perfidious nation. Nothing could afford me more pleasure than to meet the Sons of Liberty on that fortunate spot. But, as you shall justly appreciate, the infirmities of old age will not permit, for I am now 81 years old, and the lamp of life is almost spent. I have of late had many such invitations, but was not ready, for there was not oil enough in the lamp. You say you wish your young men to see me, but you who have seen me can tell them that I never was worth much of a show, and certainly cannot be worth their seeing now. In case of my not being able to attend, you wish my sentiments. Them you shall have, as free as the air we breathe. As I was then, I am now, the friend of the equal rights of men, of representative democracy, of republicanism, and the Declaration of Independence, the great charter of our national rights, and of the cause, and of course, the friend of the indissoluble Union and Constitution of the States. I am the enemy of all foreign influence, for all foreign influence is the influence of tyranny. This is the only chosen spot of liberty. This is the only republic on earth. It is my orders now, and will be my last orders to my volunteers, to look well to their sentries. I shall remember, gentlemen, the respect you and the inhabitants of Bennington and its neighborhood have shown me, till I go to the country from which no traveler returns. I must soon receive marching orders. John Stark. Postscript. I will give you my volunteer toast. Live free or die. Death is not the greatest of evils. At this time, I will invite Phyllis back to the lectern, who will be leading us in our laying of... Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. Got a little bit ahead of myself. At this time, I would like to invite Jonah Spivak up to the podium, who will be sharing one additional account, a interview collected by the historian Asa Fitch about the Rocky Ridge.
Thank you. I'm going to add a little bit of audience participation to this. When I say Warner, I want everyone to say huzzah! Huzzah! So, spoiler, I'm going to mention Seth Warner in this. Huzzah! They're good. Come on, guys. You're going to be ready, though, right? That was good. That was good. Yeah, it's important to remember him today. There was a special commemorative ceremony at the Bennington Battle Monument honoring Seth Warner and his contributions to the Revolutionary War. Of course, he was second in command to Ethan Allen, who everyone knows. Lesser known is Seth Warner, who served us as the commander of the Green Mountain Boys, the Warner's Regiment, ably and well both at Hubbardton and Bennington. So I have the honor today of reading an account that was actually recorded by Dr. Asa Fitch, but it's the account of Reuben Clark. And this is his account of not the first engagement where, of course, this area where we are sitting right now was an important position, but the second engagement, which was the closing of the battle. And in that battle, it was much more closely fought. Of course, the first engagement, we had the advantage of numbers and we knew their position. But in the second battle, we did not. So, the first-hand account, as has been told to Reuben Clark. When Baum was defeated on the hill north of Barnett's, the fugitives that escaped from being captured fled back and were pursued by the Americans in an irregular manner and without any order. They passed through the Walloomsac settlement, which is 1.5 miles from Barnett's house. About on the west line of Walloomsac-Patton, a ledge of rock crosses the valley, extending from the hill which bounds this valley from the north down towards the Walloomsac River, forming a ridge some 10 feet above the level plain west of it, and having some brooks and slight ravines on its side. The Flying Hessians, as they gained this ridge, pursued by the Americans, to their great relief, saw Bremen advancing on the flat below. Bremen was the reinforcement that the British had sent. The road at those days ran north of where it does now, on the north side of the flat near the base of the hill. The Hessians ran on and joined their friends and the pursuing Americans on gaining the summit of the ridge, and, seeing the imposing force in front of them, they paused and fired upon it till Bremen had arranged his men for advancing. His 2 cannon, charged with grape shot, were fired, sending much showers of balls, that the Americans forsook the ridge and took to the ravines and bushes on its rear. This was only an irregular force of Americans without order in their ranks or a general officer to direct their movements. Most of the American force being scattered about various parts of the battlefield, securing horses or any other plunder they could find. Bremen's forces advanced, passing over the ridge, the scattered Americans retiring before them. A desultory firing only was kept up. Bremen then proceeded about a mile, our men withdrawing before him, but when he reached the place where the road leaving the river flats ascends a hill, he was met by Warner with a body of fresh troops who captured some of his advance parties and opposed his further advance with such spirit that he was eventually compelled to retire. He only reached the base of the hill alluded to, about a mile from the place where he first formed his men for fighting and where the firing first commenced. Old Joshua Monroe lived on the south side of the Walloomsac, in sight of where Bremen first formed his men, and saw the whole of their motions, their brass kettle drums glistening in the sun, being a most striking feature of the scene. Thank you.
All right, now we will have our wreath laying ceremony. Phyllis, if you'd like to approach the lectern.
Okay, I have the list, and if I make any errors in names or whatever, I beg apology right in the beginning, because we do have some changes, but we'll go according to the list I have at this time. So I would like to call up William Todd, who is representing the Friends of the Bennington Battle Monument. He is its president. So he is going to fall out of line and lay a wreath. I will next call Barbara Giffen from the Vermont State DAR. And could we have Michael Golden from the Saratoga Battle Chapter? Next, Charles Crawford from the Walloomsac Battle Chapter of the SAR. And following Charles, if we could have Michael Golden laying the wreath for the Military Order of the World Wars. I have two lists here, so I'm cross-referencing. If I forget somebody, you let me know. Okay, next we'll have Carmen Bogle from the Ondawa Cambridge chapter of the DAR. And next, Tom Hughes from the Vermont State chapter of the SAR, Sons of the American Revolution. Now can we have Douglas Wood, Second Vice President, New Hampshire SAR, and Curtis Herman, who is going to escort the wreath.
Present arms.
And we will have a salute. And then finally, Lois Herman from the Molly Stark chapter of the New Hampshire State Organization of the DAR. And I believe that is everyone. Thank you so much for coming and laying a wreath in honor of our veterans, particularly those at the Battle of Bennington. And thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to have a very special portion of the program. We're going to dedicate a memorial bench to the memory of two very important people in the history of the commemoration and programming of this site, John Sheaf and Paul Loading. At this time, I would invite Michael Golden, Vice President of the Walloomsac Battle Chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution, to advance to the podium here and say a few words if you wish.
Good evening. The bench over there, right where the wreath was, we are dedicating that in memory of John Sheaf and Paul Lodging, who were longtime members of the Walloomsac Battle Chapter, as well as past presidents. We very much appreciate their years of service, which has contributed to the Walloomsac Battle Chapter in this battlefield and supporting and keeping these commemorations going, so we remember what happened here. Thank you.
I'll now invite Peter Shapock to the lectern to say a few words in the memory of John and Paul.
Whoever said getting old was fun. I'd just like to say a few things about Paul Loading, who was really one of the drivers of getting the Friends of the Battlefield going. Paul was a longtime member of the 52nd Regiment. I don't know, I think just about everything during the bicentennial, Paul was somehow involved. And was a fantastic narrator when we did our tacticals, and frankly, even though he was maybe a little overweight, we didn't think there was anything, he had any health problems. So when he died, it came as a shock. And we really miss him, because there are a lot of historians who are very selfish with their research and things that they dig up, and you know, that's mine, I found it. Not Paul. Paul, the minute he found stuff that he thought was interesting, he wanted to share it. And it was like, he said he had an open heart, you know, and we miss him sorely, and I hope we all keep remembering him as we do our activities. Thank you.
At this point, to officially dedicate the memorial bench, I will invite the members of the Green Mountain Boys and Warner's Regiment to. I walked into that one. To honor them with a musketry salute. Gentlemen.
Handle your firelocks. Shoulder your firelocks. Right about. Fix. Prime and low. Make ready. Present to the left oblique. Fire! Shoulder your firelocks. Right about face.
All right, so we will have one additional salute to close the ceremony. But before we do, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. And I would also like to extend an invitation. So part of our reasoning behind the account that Jonah read today, the Rocky Ridge, collected by Asa Fitch, was to promote and raise awareness for an event that the Friends of the Bennington Battlefield will have coming up next month. So, Saturday, September 13th, 2025, everyone here is cordially invited to attend this very unique event. Really, this is something that's, as far as I'm aware, never been offered before. So for members, you can become a member as part of your attendance at this event, so provided you register. There's going to be a very interesting off-site tour. I will not be leading it. A member of the Friends, a very knowledgeable historian, will take you off-site onto private property with the very gracious invitation of the landowner to tour a very important piece of land relevant to the second engagement of the battle, Rocky Ridge. So that will be at 1 o'clock, September 13th. We're also very honored to be able to say that Eric Schnitzer, historian of Saratoga National Historical Park, will be following up that hike at 3 o'clock with a lecture on artillery, specifically artillery relevant to the Battle of Bennington, Grasshoppers and Butterflies Reconsidered. It's something of an esoteric title, but I can assure you it's quite interesting. So there'll be light refreshments, music, a silent auction, as well as a raffle. So we strongly encourage anyone who has ever considered joining the Friends, or anyone who's simply interested in the offerings of this program, to consider attending. If you would like to register, there are many ways to do that. There are links circulating on the state Facebook page, as well as the Friends website, benningtonbattlefield.org. You can also email them. We have more information in the form of flyers available on the table in front of the walkway here. So, to conclude the ceremony today, I will, for a final time, invite our reenactors to render a musket and cannon salute.
Handle your firelocks. Shoulder your firelocks. Right about. Face. Prime and low. Make ready. Present to the left oblique. Fire! Shoulder your fire.
All right. How about we give them a hand? right, thank you very much for coming.
Fire! Fire! Work! Handle cartridge! Advance cartridge! Load cartridge! Ram down cartridge! Pick and prime! Fire! Advance to work! Work!
Give a little talk about the importance of Seth Warner, someone who didn't get as much glory as he deserved. So, take it away, Skylar.
I'm Captain Schuyler Bailey of Colonel Seth Warner's Regiment of Foot Recreated. We're gathered here today to dedicate a new marker for Seth Warner, who was a hero of the American Revolution who did not get the credit that he deserved, partially through his own doing. He was not one to seek credit or try to make a name for himself. He just saw duty and did his best to make sure that it happened. He was with Ethan Allen in the Green Mountain Boys before the American Revolution, moved to what's now Vermont from Connecticut. He went with Ethan Allen. He led a detachment to take the fort at Crown Point just after Ethan Allen capturing Ticonderoga. The majority of the artillery that went to Boston to end the siege there and force the British evacuation came from Crown Point, not from Ticonderoga. After that, the Green Mountain Boys were recruited into a regiment of militia, which Seth Warner led into Canada in the fall of 1775. They participated in the siege of St. John's, Canada, and in the Battle of Longueuil, and the capture of Montreal. They retreated back into Vermont, their service having been completed, and then were reformed, marched into Canada in winter of 1776, when the British reinforced Quebec City and the American army withdrew. Warner took it upon himself to secure the hospital, which was going to be abandoned and left, and pulled it off on his own initiative. They shepherded the sick and functioned as a rear guard during a lot of the retreat from Canada in 1776. They were then stationed at Mount Independence in Vermont, helped build the fortifications there. In 1777, they skirmished with the British advanced guard outside of Fort Ticonderoga, and then were again near the rear of column, marching away when the American army withdrew from the fort. So Colonel Francis was in charge of the official American rear guard and posted his men at Hubbardton, Vermont. Seth Warner arrived with his regiment and took overall command and used his experience functioning as rear guard in the withdrawal from Canada to set up dispositions there. General Simon Fraser of the British Army arrived with the light infantry and the grenadiers on the morning of July 7th, 1777, and attacked the American forces there. Warner very nearly defeated Fraser, the best the British had at the Battle of Hubbardton. But then some of the Brunswicker and Hessian troops arrived, and those fresh troops turned the tide of the battle, and they led a retreat over Pittsford Ridge and then down to Rutland. There, Warner's regiment maintained the Valley of Vermont in American control, harassing Brunswicker and Hessian forces stationed at Castleton. And then Warner's was the continental backbone of the Paulet expedition, often known as Brown's Raid, which went to Ticonderoga in September of 1777 and cut British General Burgoyne's supply lines and eventually forced his surrender at Saratoga. They were also a key factor in the Battle of Bennington, where they arrived in the nick of time to confront a 600-man Hessian reinforcement group. Warner's regiment by that point was down to 150 men. Nevertheless, they attacked 600 Hessians head-on and then worked around to their flanks and almost succeeded in surrounding them and cutting them off before darkness allowed them to escape. Seth Warner was never seeking glory for any of these actions. Thereafter, he seemed to take some kind of illness and was less frequently in the field with his men as he got sicker and sicker. He would return to Connecticut to try to get medical treatment, and he died there in 1784 in his 40s. We talk a lot about Ethan Allen. We talk a lot about other Vermonters who were important during that period in our history. Seth Warner was the backbone in a lot of very important events that allowed us to be an independent state and an independent country, and it's important that we try to honor him to the extent that he deserves, though he never sought that during his lifetime.
Now yours.
The troops are now going to fire a foi de joie, which is a celebratory form of firing muskets. I will step out of the way.
Take care. To the left, wheel, march. Hop. Take care for feu de joie. Prime and load. Care. Running fire from right to left. Make ready. Present. Fire. Fire from the left to the right. Make ready. Present. Fire. Prime and load. Volley, make ready. Present. Company, make ready. Fire! Fire! Shoulder your.
Yeah, okay. Say it's only right.
Order your firelocks. So, whereas Ethan Allen got a lot of credit for things that Seth Warner did during his life, it's only fitting that the man who is portraying Ethan Allen unveils the marker in his honor.
We do have a system. And the marker was created by the Division for Historic Preservation of the state of Vermont. There's several historic markers through the state, so be sure and try and find them. They're all very interesting.
Seth would have did a better job than me. It's not coming.
Huzzah! Huzzah!
Shoulder your firelocks. Prepare to disperse. Disperse for the Congress.
From Bennington. From Bennington.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sergeant Delorier of Colonel Warner's Extracontinental Regiment. Take notice to all brave, able-bodied, and well-disposed persons, that includes you guys, in the newly established and independent Republic of Vermont and surrounding provinces and states. Troops are now raising by authority of the Honorable Continental Congress to secure our liberties and rights against the Crown. Now recruiting men-at-arms for Colonel Seth Warner's additional Continental Regiment of Foot. For those who are interested in joining us and bringing this to life, and who have the gumption to do so, please see any of us in the green jackets to inquire about becoming a Green Mountain Boy.
And welcome to the 60th Annual Bennington Battle Day Parade. We hope you're going to keep that up all afternoon, folks. We've got a beautiful day and 5 great sections coming at you for the parade this afternoon, our 60th Bennington Battle Day Parade. I'd like to thank all you folks for coming out today. I'd like to thank all the volunteers that helped put this together. And of course, the Bennington Fire Department, we couldn't do it without them, for sure. The return of salute today will be from Lieutenant from Eagle Hose, Sean Giroux. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that for doing that. We'll have our Star Spangled Banner coming up just a few minutes. And this great sound system would never be possible without the great folks from Clockwork Studios. So let's give them a hand for making me sound so good this afternoon. And as we get set to get the festivities underway, in front of the police cars, and as we celebrate the 60th Bennington Battle Day Parade, we have Colonial Man is going to start off the parade in front of the police car. So make sure you give him a nice round of applause when he gets down to the when he gets down here. He can probably hear us from here. Bennington Battle Day Parade, the 60th one that we are celebrating today, is Colonial Man. Let's have a nice hand for Colonial Man. And right behind them, we have our police cars. And in one of our cars, one of the 4 cars that are coming down right now, retired captain, World War II veteran, 100 years old, almost 101, in about 3 weeks, Wally Matson. Give him a nice hand. Thank you, Colonial Man. Nice salute. Right behind our police vehicles is the Keene Brattleboro American Legion Band. Combination of two great Legion bands, Post 5 in Brattleboro, Vermont, Commander Jay Mills, and Post 4 in Keene, New Hampshire, Post Commander Robert Campbell. It's the Keene Brattleboro American Legion Band. Got a Bennington police car coming through, also Bennington County Sheriff's. And again, in one of those cars, retired Captain Wally Madsen, World War II veteran, 100 years old, almost 101. We salute him today as we head through the center. We also have a police car from Manchester and one from Winhall, Vermont. Thank you for attending the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Grand Marshal is heading toward the reviewing stand, Norman LeBlanc. This is the Bennington Fire Department Color Guard, all made up of hook and ladder members. And part of the Bennington Fire Department Chief Nathan Barris, Deputy Chief Scott Richmond, Assistant Chief Kevin Madison, Putnam Hose Captain Steve Felt, Stark Hose Captain Chris Deary, Eagle Hose Captain Bill Clark, and Bradford Hook and Ladder Captain Ted Rinaldi. Please rise if you're able and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem from Trinity Madison.
Stripes and
Tiffany Madison. Now we'd like to honor our Grand Marshal, Norman F. LeBlanc, born on June 13, 1969, in Mount Kisco, New York. In 1971, he moved to Woodford, Vermont, with his parents and two sisters, and officially became a Vermont resident. Norm grew up surrounded by nature and could almost always be found outside with his friends. He was a graduate of Woodford Elementary, Mount Anthony Middle, and High School. In his teenage years, he enjoyed working on cars, driving motorcycles, and playing football. When he was not doing any of that, you would most likely find him working at the Texaco station on South Street. It's also a well-known fact that you can count on seeing him riding around in his pride and joy, the Mud Puppy. In 1987, he enlisted as a Seabee in the U.S. Navy. He served on active duty for 4 years until going into the reserves. It should be noted that he continued to serve his country until 2012 when he retired as a USN Senior Chief. During his military career, he went through multiple deployments. Although his career didn't always allow you to be physically present, you made sure to find ways to still be an active father, husband, and community member. You met your wife, Kristen Morgan, and you married in February of 1991. In January of 1992, you welcomed your first daughter, Whitney, and in 1994, you welcomed your second daughter, Courtney. You are a man who is selfless. You put everyone's needs above your own, and you've always done that, everything that you could for your family and community. Being a husband, father, and soldier wasn't enough to slow you down. Not only were you a full-time mechanic at Bennington Auto Tech, but you also ran multiple private businesses by yourself and was a volunteer Bennington firefighter for over 18 years and remained an active member while being deployed. As the years have passed, you still have not slowed down. You are the highway superintendent in North Bennington and hold that title and position today. You're a member of multiple local clubs here in Bennington, and in 2013, you became the VFW commander. This year, you became the State of Vermont VFW commander, while still holding the title of commander at the local post in Bennington. Under your leadership, the VFW has had many multiple events and fundraisers that have allowed the VFW and its members to donate money, time, and energy back into the community that you and your family were raised in. This is why the Bennington Fire Department is so proud in naming you Bennington Battle Day 2025 Grand Marshal, Norman LeBlanc. The Bennington Fire Department would like to honor Erwin Smokey Madison and Joseph Joe Wasick as this year's Bennington Battle Day dedication choices. They were both lifelong residents of Bennington, and both were 65-year members of the Bennington Fire Department. Joe was the first assistant chief, and Erwin was the second assistant chief under Chief Charles Chuck Sawyer when the Bennington Fire Department took over the Bennington Battle Day celebration activities, which the fire department has now done for the last 60 years. Joe went on to become department chief from 1971 to 73, and Irwin went on to become department chief from 1974 to 1977. Joe worked for many years at Wasix Tire Service, and then moved on to Kelly Oil Company, where he retired. Joe then passed away October 10th, 2024. Joe joined the Eagle Hose Company of the Bennington Fire Department in 1959. Irwin worked for Morse Construction, Pisano Construction, and eventually started and owned his own construction business, known as Madison Construction. He was a gifted mason, builder, and craftsman. Irwin passed away August 6, 2024. Irwin joined the Putnam Hose Company of the Bennington Fire Department in 1959. The Bennington Fire Department would like to thank these gentlemen for their many years of dedication and service to the department. Irwin Smokey Madison and Joseph Joe Wassett. At this time, I'd like, before the parade gets going again, I'd like to welcome one of our representatives from Bennington, Mary Morrissey.
Thank you, Ben. I am very pleased and honored to be here with all of you today for the Bennington Battle Day Parade. I am about to read the Vermont State Legislative Resolution that acknowledges and further honors the Bennington Fire Department in their 175th anniversary year as a department. Today we honor and sincerely thank them for their 60th year anniversary of organizing the annual Bennington Battle Day Week activities for our community and visitors to enjoy. We must remember this fine group of volunteers are on call 24/7, 365 days of the year as emergency first responders for our community and region's safety and protection. Their love of our community and its rich history motivated them to take on this task to celebrate Bennington Battle Day 60 years ago. We want to thank you, our beloved Bennington Fire Department members, past and present, and their families for your selfless dedication and commitment to this community for a job very well done. Please put your hands together for this fine day. And the proclamation reads, it's offered by myself, Representative Morrissey, and I ask my fellow colleagues from Bennington, Representative Corcoran, Greer, Nigro, and our two senators, Bongartz and Plunkett, to be a part of this. House concurrent resolution commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Bennington Fire Department's management of the annual Bennington Battle Day weekend parade and festivities. Whereas the town of Bennington annually celebrates the August 16, 1777 American War for Independence, victory of Patriot forces, including members of the Green Mountain Rangers. Many of them were Green Mountain Boys. At the Battle of Bennington, in which the Americans defeated a large contingent of British and other loyalist forces under the command of British General John Burgoyne, and had unsuccessfully sought to capture the Bennington Supply Depot. And whereas this observance consists of festive events centered on a much anticipated parade featuring floats, musicians, marchers representing local organizations, public safety vehicles, and Vermont dignitaries. And whereas originally this venerable marching extravaganza and the associated activities were the responsibility of an ad hoc committee of local business owners and citizens, some of whom include John Proud, were Bennington Fire Department members, and we're seeking a long-term management structure to the Bennington Battle Day weekend commemorations. An ad hoc committee approached Bennington Fire Chief Chuck Sawyer to inquire if the department would assume this role. And whereas the Bennington Fire Department's January 1965 meeting, the question was presented and the idea was endorsed, with the 1965 celebration becoming the first under the department's purview. And whereas the department's first Bennington Battle Day committee consisted of Chief Sawyer as the general chairperson, Ormal Pierce, senior treasurer, assistant chiefs Joseph Wassick and Edwin Madison and Mike Walker, and other department members serving on the committee. And whereas to finance these events, the department hosts a series of fundraisers throughout the year, and among the other Bennington Battle Day celebrations are a car show, sporting competitions, a chicken barbecue dinner, and a Las Vegas night. And whereas the 60 years, the Bennington Fire Department has served as the ideal guardian angel for this local summertime tradition. Now therefore be it resolved that the Senate and House of Representatives, that the General Assembly commemorates and honors the 60th anniversary of the Bennington Fire Department's management of the annual Bennington Battle Day weekend and festivities, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this to the Bennington Fire Department. Please give this amazing group a big round of applause, and that means all.
All right, let's have a big hand for our Bennington Fire Department, putting on this great parade for the last 60 years. Thanks, guys and girls. Let's get this show on the road, right? That's what we're here for, parade. American Legion Band is marching in front of our color guard, made up entirely of hook and ladder members. We thank them for being here today. Got our Bennington Fire Department, Chief Nathan Barris, Deputy Chief Scott Richmond, Assistant Chief Kevin Madison, Putnam Hose Captain Steve Felt, Stark Hose Captain Chris Deary, Eagle Hose Captain Bill Clark, and Bradford Hook and Ladder Captain Ted Rinaldi of the Bennington Fire Department. past chiefs as well marching, Jim Wright and Jeff Santarcangelo. Let's give them a nice round of applause as well. And of course, we can't have a Bennington Battle Day parade without trucks, fire trucks. So here comes our Bennington fire trucks through. Big hook and ladder from Bradford Hook and Ladder. Truck number 1. Past Chief Driver Phil Frazier. Give us a little wave, Phil. Come on now. There we go. Got the Putnam Hose truck, company number 3. As a salute. Got Stark Hose, company number 1 coming through right now. And hopefully that big truck is not going to hit me. Thank God he's going slow enough. That's our Eagle Hose. Oh, really? We have a future fire person sitting in the front seat. There we go, waving away. Very nice. This is our Chief's car coming through. Nice wave from the vehicle. This is a 1924 fire truck, Bennington fire truck. Thank you, All Service Sitco, for taking that. Appreciate that. Now heading to the reviewing stand, Bennington Elks Club 567 with the American flag. Exalted Ruler Kelly F. Curvin, birthplace of Vermont hospitality. The lodge meets on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays at 125 Washington Avenue in Bennington. Give a nice hand to the Bennington Elks Club.
Glad you guys could get up. We got down.
I was hoping you were getting up.
Now heading to the reviewing stand,
Elks Drug Awareness Trailer, the largest volunteer drug awareness program in the United States. Very proud of our dedicated army of volunteers who really gave their time and talents to this most notable cause. The Elks are committed to eliminating the use and abuse of illegal drugs by all members of society, and believe that in order to ensure a bright future for our country, it's essential that our children be raised in a drug-free environment. Now heading to the reviewing stand is the Bennington Rescue Squad. Bennington Rescue Squad comprised of dedicated, skilled, and passionate professionals whose mission is to provide quality emergency medicine and specialty services while promoting a healthier community through patient care, education, and public service. Bennington Rescue provides EMS response, medical interfacility transport, billing, and education services in southwestern Vermont and surrounding communities. Now heading to the reviewing stand, the Galloway Gaelic Pipes and Drums. Established back in 1985, Galloway Gaelic Pipes and Drums is a parade and competition band based out of South Glens Falls. They are celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. Congratulations. Their goal is simple: to play well, enjoy themselves and their music, and to continue to improve as solo players, as an ensemble. The Galloway Gaelic Pipes and Drums. Alert Hose Fire Company from Adams, Massachusetts, founded back in 1876. The Alert Hose Company #1 is an all-volunteer organization charged with the responsibility of providing fire suppression and other emergency service manpower to the Adams Fire Department for the Berkshire County town of Adams, Massachusetts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Assistant foremen are Mike Shepard and Rick Valois. Here comes their fire truck right behind their marchers. We thank them for being here at the Bennington Battle Day Parade from Adams, engine number 1. Thank you very much. As they round out section number 1 and head to section number 2. Isn't it great that you have a truck that carries the band's moniker there? We'll have to have people dying to carry that today. Now heading to the reviewing stand from Mechanicsville, New York, is the Fiesta Band. Members of the Fiesta Band out of Mechanicsville marching toward the reviewing stand with their signature red sash around their waist, white hats, black ties. It's the Fiesta Band from Mechanicsville, New York. Now heading to the reviewing stand, Bennington Rural Fire Department, Chief Steve Waters. And don't forget, our parade salute today is from Sean Giroux. Also heading through are our fire trucks from Bennington Rural. Vermont State Firefighters Association past president, driving the rescue truck. Bennington. Here comes our company number 2 truck. A little closer, a little closer. Are you smoky or is the truck smoky? Looks like you got a rescue vehicle on the back. And our Bennington Rural Fire Department. Finishing off, truck 46. Now heading to reviewing stand. I'm assuming the number is your store number, is that correct? Walmart 2289 right here in Bennington, Vermont. Let's welcome in to the Bennington Battle Day Parade. You guys better have good candy. Remember, you still gotta go way down there with all that candy. Here comes our Vermont National Guard. Thank the Vermont National Guard for being here. Bravo Troop. Got the truck going on. Very nice. Good parade made there. Got our color guard leading our troops here. Very nice. Put your hands together for the folks as they come through the reviewing stand. Thank you so much for the Civil Air Patrol for being here today. Auxiliary vans are coming through right now. Now coming to a reviewing stand, the USS Bennington vehicle. USS Bennington was an Essex-class aircraft carrier in service with the United States Navy from 1944 to 46, from 1952 to 1970. Bennington earned 3 battle stars for World War II service and 5 battle stars during the Vietnam conflict. And now heading to the reviewing stand, Cub Scout Pack 330 from Shaftesbury, 353 Boy Scout Troop, 353 based in Bennington, part of the Ethan Allen District within the Green Mountain Council. Thank you for being here at the Bennington Battle Day Parade. And now heading to the reviewing stand is Cleo the Clown. Proud to be the preferred choice in entertainment for children and their families, businesses, charities, organizations, sports teams, and event management companies since 1999. It is Cleo the Clown. One of the Cleo the Clown support vehicles. Thanks for being here, guys. We've got our Cancer Center Community Crusaders. The Cancer Center Community Crusaders, a not-for-profit group of dedicated and focused volunteers who diligently work to support community members from Bennington and the surrounding areas who are battling cancer. They attempt to provide support that is not generally available through traditional means that can make a treatment a challenge, if not impossible. Crusading crews partner with wonderful local businesses, clubs, church groups, and families to provide fundraising opportunities as well as awareness events throughout the year to advance their mission. Cancer Center Community Crusaders, standing strong together. It's like Mardi Gras here at the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Thank the folks for being here this afternoon. Beautiful float and lots of bubbles. Nice beads. There you go. Well, we've got a little break in the action. I'd like to remind you that this is our 60th Bennington Battle Day Parade. We appreciate each and every one of you for being out here today to support the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Got more great things coming up as we head through this afternoon. Oh, by the way, I'm Ben Patton for the Magic Morning Show, Magic 100.5 and AM 590. Glad to be here again. I think we figured it out finally. This is my 22nd Bennington Battle Day Parade since 2003. So it's every year it's a thing that we question. How many years have you been doing it? I think we finally figured it out. So we thank you for being here. Beautiful day today. And we've got a great parade underway right now. We're still in section 2 and we've got 5 sections total. So we've got a few more to go. But we've got plenty of great bands coming up. There are a lot of fife and drum corps that are going to be coming through. A lot of fire trucks, because you can't really have the Bennington Battle Day Parade without a lot of fire trucks. They're on the way as well. So enjoy, let your hands heal up a little bit, and then we're going to clap a lot again because we've got a lot of good stuff coming just a few minutes right here in the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Again, we'd like to thank our audio folks today too, Clockwork Studios, for putting the audio on. And of course, the parade can be seen on Cat TV as well, so we'd like to thank them for being a part of the Bennington Battle Day Parade as well. They do a great job, and we want to make sure that we give them a round of applause as well, because they're always here during the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Now coming through the reviewing stand, the Center for Living and Rehabilitation. At the Center for Living and Rehabilitation, their mission is to provide each resident with the highest standard of care, compassion, and service. Proudly merging hospitality and healthcare, they offer comprehensive, personalized care that addresses each individual's unique physical, mental, social, and spiritual needs. More of our Center for Living and Rehabilitation folks. We thank them for being in the Bennington Battle Day Parade. Now heading to reviewing stand is the Landcraft Fife and Drum Corps. Started anywhere between 1882 and 1888 and 1892. They're located in North Haven, Connecticut, to promote and perpetuate the art of fifing and drumming, to preserve and perform the traditional music of colonial America, to support and participate in the company of fifers and drummers, and to help educate school children about fifing and drumming. From North Haven, Connecticut, it's the Landcraft Fife and Drum Corps. To the reviewing stand from New Ashford, Massachusetts. It's the New Ashford Fire Department, Chief Frank Speth III. I'd like to thank them for marching in this afternoon's Bennington Battle Day Parade. They've got their support vehicles right behind them. to thank for New Ashford for being here from Massachusetts today, engine number 2. Thank you very much. We've got our tanker from New Ashford. Thank you. Let's welcome American Legion Post 13, Commander Roger Livingston. Founded by an act of Congress after World War I, the American Legion fiercely advocates for the unique services of every generation of veterans, service members, and their families who pledge to protect our nation. Today, we're committed to destigmatizing mental health support, offering peer-to-peer resources, and empowering everyone to be the one in the fight to prevent veteran suicide. The American Legion, Post 13. There's our commander in the truck, Roger Livingston, and their support vehicles. And as we head to section number 3, we're having a little New Orleans jam going on here. Time to kick off section number 3. With our neighbors to the west, this community band, founded in 1853, and since that time has made annual appearances as a marching and concert unit, except during wartime. The Cambridge Band, one of the oldest continuous community bands in America, very talented and dedicated group, celebrating 172 years. It's the Cambridge Band. Fire Department, Chief Ryan Hawley. I think you got a future chief holding that placard over there. I'd like to thank the Arlington Fire Department for being here today. Sharp looking fire and rescue buggy there. Very nice. Got the Arlington utility truck. Fire Rescue, Truck 74. Thanks for being here. Now heading towards the reviewing stand, Girl Scout Troop 58007 located in Shaftesbury, Vermont. Thanks for being in the Bennington Battle Day Parade. We appreciate it. This is the Bennington County Head Start and Early Head Start, federally funded educational program for children ages 6 weeks to 5 years that has been providing early childhood pre-K education in Bennington County since 1965, celebrating their 60th year, just like the Bennington Battle Day Parade this year in 2025. What, no cake? Just the hats? Just the hats, no cake. Okay. All right. Heading to the reviewing stand right now is the North Shaft Lions. Lions Club, an international organization founded in 1917. North Shaft Lions Club, chartered in 1953, serves the communities of Bennington, North Bennington, Shaftesbury, Pownell, and Woodford. The North Shaft Lions float displays their main mission of "We Serve." Thank you to the North Shaft Lions Club. How come that lion's not marching? What's up with that? I'd like to thank the folks from the Devlin Funeral Home for having a float in this year's Bennington Battle Day Parade. Thanks for being here, folks. We appreciate it. Careful, you don't want to hurt somebody throwing that candy up there. Now heading to the reviewing stand, Robert Kilpeck in a 1922 Model T. Very nice. That truck now 103 years old. Unbelievable. Heading to the reviewing stand, just a few miles from my house where I lived in Connecticut way back when, is the Moodus Fife and Drum Corps. The Moodus Drum and Fife Corps march to a slower beat, distinguishing them from other musical groups and allows them the opportunity to play the music with added volume and intensity. Many of the drums are 200 years old. Currently, the Corps routinely performs their parades in Rhode Island, New York, Massachusetts, and right here in Bennington, Vermont. It's the Moodus Drum and Fife Corps. is the Curious Kids Child Care Club. I'd like to thank them for being here today. Located in Bennington, Vermont. Thank you, folks, for being in the Bennington Battle Day Parade. And here comes our fire truck with the great folks at Armin Hart Fire Department. I'd like to thank them for being in the Bennington Battle Day Parade today. Heading to the reviewing stand right now, the Bike Hub Incorporated. I'd like to thank them for being here in the Bennington Battle Day Parade. And now we head to section number 4. What a great way to kick it off. It's the Yankee Doodle Band. In the winter of 1927, the Fort Craylow Post 471 of the American Legion of Rensselaer organized a senior drum and bugle corps consisting of its own members. Since all the members of the drum corps were active Legionnaires, they put all their efforts into making their musical organization an outstanding part of American Legion. The Yankee Doodle Band, like the old drum corps of 1927, also gained a reputation in American Legion circles and elsewhere. The first year was formed as a band in 1936. It's the Yankee Doodle Band. And here comes the reviewing stand. Just a little bit to the north of Bennington. Oh, isn't that interesting? It is the North Bennington Fire Department. Like the local Chief Ed Myers and the crew from North Bennington, Vermont. Got their fire vehicles in the Bennington Battle Day Parade, their cold water support team, thank you, and their brush unit. Also heading through from North Bennington, Truck 56 of the fire department. And Truck 55. Again, North Bennington Fire Department's chief is Ed Myers. And now heading to the reviewing stand, the VFW Post 1332 Color Guard. The VFW Post 1332, located at 137 North Street. They meet the second Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. The quartermaster is Donald Myers. And the commander is your 2025 Parade Grand Marshal, Norm LeBlanc. Now heading towards the reviewing stand, Disabled American Veterans Chapter number 4. The DAV stands ready to assist all veterans, transitioning service members, and nearly 1 million members nationwide in a variety of ways. I'd like to thank our motorcycle unit for coming through from the Vermont Veterans Home. The Vermont Veterans Home provides best-of-class healthcare services and advocacy for veterans, their spouses, and Gold Star parents while honoring their choices and respecting their rights of self-determination. From the Vermont Veterans Home. Have a nice motorcycle group coming through here. We'd like to thank them for being a part of the Bennington Battle Day Parade. To the reviewing stand, our neighbors to the south, Pownell Fire Protective Chief Greg Odell and Pownell Valley Fire Department Chief Jason Olansky. Got a fire rescue vehicle in there from Pownell. Truck 917 coming through. Thank you. Also our fire rescue 918.
I'm surprised it didn't get out. I don't know what's going on today.
I did not. I did not. He said, "You stay right here. We got a surprise."
No, you're right.
I love it. Yeah, we got the back. Oh, they didn't?
No. And I got one bandit with shell.
That's not terrible then. That's not terrible then.
No. So far I got only one bandit. Some of them aren't lined up quite right. But
Pownell Valley vehicles coming through. Truck number 4. Got our fire rescue there from Pownell Valley. Thanks for being in the parade. Some future firefighters up in the top there. And our E2 East Company truck. Now heading towards the reviewing stand is Vermont Field Music, 18th and 19th century fife and drum music for parades, concerts, Civil War era uniforms, fife and drum corps. Again, Vermont Field Music. and Vermont Field Music. And right behind them is the Greater Bennington Peace and Justice Center. To finish off our section number 4 is a float from Walt's Towing Service. Located right here in Bennington, Vermont. Kicking off section number 5. You probably could figure it out right now. Here comes the Red Caps Marching Band. And then right behind the Red Caps Marching Band is the Shaftesbury Fire Department with Chief Joe Vadigan. Here comes the Shaftesbury Fire Department Trucks, engine number 1. You guys must have had a meeting before, because engine number 1 comes engine number 2. I like that. Could it possibly be engine number 3 behind it? I should have put a bet on that. I could have won. Again, we'd like to thank the folks from Shaftesbury for being here today. Thank you so much. Smoky Bear truck, very nice. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. Beautiful truck. This is a Iraq Court number 42 clown unit located in Rutland, Vermont. And now heading to the reviewing stand from the middle of the state of Connecticut, it is the Colchester Continental Fife and Drum Corps. Next up, we have a float from Oliver Ford, 897 North Bennington Road in Bennington, Vermont. Right behind the Oliver Ford float is members of the Bennington Republican Party. Now heading to the reviewing stand, Shadows Helping Paws Animal Rescue. Annual Making Christmas Magic Happen, where they help families in need of a little Christmas magic by providing gifts and stockings for families in need. You can sign up by contacting Shadows Helping Paws on Facebook or the number on the Facebook page. Shadows Helping Paws Animal Rescue. Now heading to the reviewing stand in their impressive red vests from Marlborough, Connecticut, it's the Marlborough Junior Fife and Drum. Junior Corps made up of students between the ages of 8 and 18. They're dedicated to preserving the art of ancient fifing and drumming. This corps was formed in 1964 in conjunction with the Marlborough Fire Department. Marlborough, not a competitive corps, but rather a muster corps, which means they perform for the love of ancient music and camaraderie of fellow musicians. A muster is a gathering of ancient corps with a parade in the morning, followed by individual performances by each participating corps. It's the Marlborough Junior Fife and Drum. Drum's bigger than him in the back. He's going to sleep good tonight, I guarantee you. Thanks, folks, for coming from Marlborough. We appreciate it. Right behind them is the North Hoosick Fire Department, Chief Al Bourne. Chicken barbecue coming up September 20th, beginning at 5 p.m. And the first kids dance of the year will take place Friday, September 5th for kids aged 9 to 13 from 7 to 9 p.m. That includes kids from Mount Anthony as well, so if they are interested, they're more than welcome to attend. It's our friends from North Hoosick. Thanks for being here. Truck number 23. Truck 235 is coming past. Here comes our friends from the west from Pittstown. It's the Pittstown Fire Department. Truck number 1, thanks so much for being here, folks. We appreciate it. And right behind them, our folks to the south is from Berlin. It's the Berlin Fire Department. They just look like they're having a good time, don't they, folks? And they're called Brass-O-Mania. Those shirts just make me cooler, just by looking at you guys. Very nice. Brass-O-Mania. Mount Anthony Area High School Athletics, right behind Brass-O-Mania. And now heading to the reviewing stand right now. He's not Madman, he's not Robin, but he is the Joker. We're not quite done just yet. Rounding out our Bennington Battle Day Parade, it's the Green Mountain Boys.
Thanks to years of fighting with Yorkers, trying to claim our land, the Green Mountain Boys have become an efficient and feared militia. 248 years ago, Colonel Friedrich Baum and Gentleman Johnny Burgoyne learned that lesson the hard way. To liberty and those with the spirit to assert it. Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah!
It's the Green Mountain Boys. And that is the end of the 2025 Bennington Battle Day Parade, the 60th year that we've been celebrating this. We'll see you back here again next August for the 61st Bennington Battle Day Parade.
I think I ate more candy than you guys. Yeah, I'm candied off.